Hey guys, it's me, Rich. Okay, so you've seen the headlines and the cardboard crowns and the baby Trump balloons come out of progressive toy chests this weekend. But what you're about to learn will make you rethink the entire spectacle. These so called No Kings protests were back, more spectacle than substance. And it's the kind of show that people put on when they've got way too much free time and not enough common sense. I mean, Yuri Bezmenov, the Russian defector, he was right. After the Soviet indoctrination into our public school system and 30 plus years to make it grow, the lefties can look right in the face of all of the wonderful achievements of a President Donald Trump and still call him a fascist dictator, literally Hitler. But what we're going to go over today is that behind the paper mache crowns and recycled slogans lies a well-funded operation with billionaire fingerprints all over it. Who's paying for it? Why now? And what does this really mean? Now, stick with me because this gets real interesting. Let's get into it. Hey, guys, welcome back to RPW Media, where we say what they don't want you to hear. All right, so here we go again. Time to dust off the paper mache crowns, blow up the Trump baby balloons, strap on a foam sword, wave around some glittery capes, and march like it's Comic-Con for politics. The No Kings protests were back this weekend. Same playbook, same make-believe. Same tired slogan, America has no kings, as if anyone thought it did. But here's the part they never want you to notice. If Trump really were a king, they wouldn't be allowed to hold these protests at all. Now, would they? Well, yesterday on Saturday, I was driving back from a farmer's market in a town of about 3,500 people. It's a really small township in Pennsylvania. And as I was driving through the business district, which is about 1 block long, there were about 500 people on both sides of the street screaming, yelling, ranting, raving at any cars that drove by holding their No King signs and all the other garbage that they say about Trump. And I mean, they were really angry. And I don't think it was because I was giving them the finger either. And one thing I noticed was that most of them were boomers. Now, I'm from the last year of the boomers, so I don't really associate with them too much. But that's mostly what these people were. And my point is, that they had to have been smart enough to know that living through Joe Biden was an absolute chaotic mess on display every single day. And they have to also understand that Donald Trump has accomplished more in his first year of his second term than any other past president we can possibly think of. And I mean, unlike Democrats, he's not doing things for himself to give himself more power or to enrich himself. He's doing it for the American people. He is currently setting up this country to be an economic powerhouse and specifically to help the forgotten men and women who made this country work because he really cares about working class people. It's all in display. And yet these adults, supposedly with cardboard signs, have no clue what's going on in the real world. I mean, Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing. Actually, I think we should stop calling it Trump derangement syndrome because that's very disrespectful. I mean, from now on, we should call it President Trump derangement syndrome, don't you think? I mean, come on, the whole thing is based on a fantasy. A chunk of Americans actually believe Donald Trump is a dictator just days away from putting on a crown. They think he is an authoritarian, and some say he is literally Hitler, and yet their grand plan to stop him is homemade signs, Dr. Seuss rhymes, and endless shouting in the streets. Now, ignore the small detail that he actually won the 2024 popular vote and became president the normal, legal way. Pretend the Constitution doesn't exist and that checks and balances are just a bedtime story. In their world, it's a curtain call. America has been transformed into a low-budget Netflix dystopia, starring Trump as the evil overlord, with stormtrooper baristas serving lattes of oppression to the terrified masses. Many people have been articulating that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer was waiting for the No Kings anxiety parade to try to score political points against Trump and the Republicans. The theory goes that Schumer kept the government shutdown going this long because the progressive wing of his party, which seems like the majority now, has him acting like the court gesture to their radical whims. It's all just an illusion. It's been about 4 months since the left unveiled its grand No Kings roadshow. Nothing organic about it. The whole thing was bankrolled, scripted, and backed by nearly 200 activist outfits, each armed with signs blaming Trump for everything, including humidity. The grand kickoff supposedly lured over 5 million people nationwide back then. But if you look closely, most of them were baby boomers trying to relive Woodstock with cardboard signs. Now fast forward to Saturday, and here we go again. Their official website proudly crows, "Millions of us are rising again to show the world America has no kings and that the power belongs to the people." I mean, that's a cute slogan. Look at them. The only problem is that very same power of the people is exactly what voted Trump back into office. Oops. Back in June, they warned America that Trump was seconds away from plopping on a crown and declaring himself Emperor of Mar-a-Lago until their resistance swooped in to save our democracy. They meant republic. And how did they accomplish this epic rescue? By throwing a protest on Trump's birthday while the army was busy celebrating its 250th anniversary. Well, they didn't bother showing up in D.C. because the army was there celebrating its 250th anniversary. But somehow, in their fantasy world, skipping D.C. equals toppling a monarchy. If this is a revolution, it's the Party City edition. I mean, think about it. Truth? Nowhere on their agenda. Let's be honest. This has nothing to do with fixing problems and everything to do with keeping restless people busy. It's like the federal government became a jobs program, and now they're doing this for people that don't want to work for the federal government, people that don't really want to work. Give them a slogan, a chant, and a marching T-shirt, and suddenly they feel like freedom fighters instead of bored retirees. It's less about truth and more about group therapy with cardboard signs. It's always the cardboard signs. Some things never change, by the way. So who's bankrolling this carnival of wasted weekends and poster boards? Sure, the average protester just wants a hobby that feels noble, but the organizers, the ones scripting the whole play, but don't actually participate themselves, cowards, aren't in it for the chants or the craft paint. Their interests are a lot bigger and a lot less innocent. Now, front and center is Indivisible, which loves to parade around as if it's a grassroots organization. I mean, that's cute branding, but in reality, the group's been on George Soros' payroll since 2017. It's always George Soros, isn't it? And you wouldn't know this, but plenty of nearly 200 partners on the No Kings website are dipping into the same Soros ATM. Call it grassroots if you want, but it looks a hell of a lot more like AstroTurf with the billionaire's logo stamped right on it. And so, after all the marching, chanting, and cardboard artistry, what's the big accomplishment? Nothing, except maybe a few sore feet and a bulk discount on Sharpies. But rest assured, the organizers will call it a historic victory because in their world, preventing a crown that never existed is the same thing as saving a democracy. Congratulations, they defeated a fairy tale. Somebody cue the credits and hand them a participation trophy. Now, at the end of the day, the No Kings protests aren't about saving democracy. They're about political theater, and that's it. They're not about grassroots movements. They're about billionaire-funded distractions. But here's the upside. Every time these activists scream about kings and crowns, more Americans wake up to the absurdity. The truth is, democracy is alive and well, and it's the people, not the protest puppeteers, who actually decide the future. All right, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.